President Trump's man, Louis DeJoy, is certainly making big changes at the United States Post Office. It's leading to suspicion, though, that it's really about slowing down the delivery of mail-in ballots at this year's presidential election, if indeed, as it looks possible at the moment, we're going to have almost universal voting by mail. And it also comes as Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore warns that there are now 5.3 million cases of COVID in the United States and 169,000 deaths. Now, Louis DeJoy is a North Carolina businessman, very successful. He's a big Trump donor. He's a Trump appointee. He's also the subject now of an Inspector General probe into whether or not there is a conflict of interest in his position as the boss of the post office. But speaking in Bedminster at his golf club in New Jersey, about 40 miles as the crow flies away from where I'm sitting now, President Trump was full of praise for DeJoy.
He's a fantastic man. He wants to make the post office great again. You ever hear the expression? He wants to make the post office great again. The post office is a catastrophe.
So there you have a new word, MPOGA. It stands for Make the Post Office Great Again. It is, in fact, one of the country's oldest institutions. It's as old as the country itself, almost. Very cash-strapped, though, because of competition, because fewer people are posting first-class mail these days, and also because of its pension obligations. Now, in his first month in the job, DeJoy has begun cutting overtime there, ending second-round deliveries, pushing some mail back to the next day or the day after, and also removing those famous blue steel mailboxes that you see in Hollywood movies, and which are in fact located all over America. All this with one eye on cutting costs at the post office. President Trump agrees that the post office needs more money, but blames the Democrats for holding it up. Now, those in favor of mail-in voting say that it protects you from potentially getting infected with COVID-19 in long voting lines in early November. The experts say there's no real evidence to suggest that there's ever been any serious mail-in fraud in the United States so far. The New Jersey governor, who adopted the idea of universal mail-in voting in his state within the last 24 hours, says it doesn't favor one party or the other, but it does favor democracy and can be trusted. President Trump continues to say that there will be confusion in November and we may not know the results for weeks, months, if ever. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C. on Saturday, outside Louis DeJoy's home, a loud protest complaining about the changes he's making at the post office amid fears that it really is more about somehow confusing, delaying or rigging the election. The event was called No Joy for DeJoy. John Terrett, CGTN, New York.